a candle that killed a girl. The night was merciless. Rain lashed against the small, weathered house on the edge of town. The kind of downpour that drowned out thought and swallowed the world in a roar of water and wind. Inside, the darkness was absolute. The power had flickered out hours ago, leaving Mira and her 6-year-old daughter, Leela, in a void of shadows. The locality was dead, silenced by the storm's wrath. Mira fumbled through the kitchen, her hands trembling as she struck a match. The tiny flame hissed to life, casting a frail glow across the room. She lit a single candle, its wax already worn and weeping. "It'll be fine, Leela," she whispered, her voice barely steady as she glanced at her daughter, curled up on the couch, clutching her stuffed rabbit. The candle's light danced in Leela's wide, curious eyes. Outside, the wind howled like a living thing, rattling the windows with feral intensity. Mira hurried to close them, sealing the house against the storm's intrusion. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of rain-soaked wood and the faint tang of wax. She placed the candle on the refrigerator's top, high enough to bathe the room in a soft, flickering glow. It seemed practical, safe even. The refrigerator was sturdy, unyielding, a sentinel in the dimness. The hours crept toward midnight. Mira tucked Leela into bed, the little girl's eyelids drooping under the weight of exhaustion. "Stay close, Mama," Leela murmured, her voice a fragile thread. Mira smiled, brushing a lock of hair from her daughter's face. "Always, my love." They drifted into sleep, the candle still burning, its flame a silent sentinel in the locked room. But the night had other plans. The candle burned lower, its wax pooling, its flame growing reckless. It licked at the air, hungry, unnoticed. The refrigerator, old and worn, harbored secrets in its insulation, flammable materials that no one had thought to question. A spark, a whisper of heat, and the flame found its mark. The fire was born quietly, a smoldering ember that grew into a ravenous beast. Smoke curled upward, insidious, weaving through the sealed room. Carbon monoxide and dioxide mingled, choking the air, stealing oxygen with every passing second. The locked door, secured by Leela's father before he left for his night shift at the factory, stood as an unyielding barrier. He'd meant to keep them safe, to protect his family from the world outside. Instead, he'd trapped them with a killer. Mira stirred, her chest tight, her breaths shallow. The air felt wrong, thick, suffocating. Her eyes fluttered open, meeting a haze of smoke illuminated by the fire's cool glow. Panic seized her. "Leela!" she screamed, her voice hoarse, barely breaking through the fog in her lungs. She stumbled to her daughter's side, shaking her small, limp form. Lila's face was pale, her breaths faint, almost gone. The fire roared now, licking at the walls, devouring the room. Mira pounded at the door, her fists bruising against the unyielding wood. "Help! Someone!" But the storm outside drowned her cries, and the lock held fast. She dragged Lila to the floor, crawling toward the window, but the smoke was everywhere, a relentless predator. Her vision blurred, her strength waned. She clutched Lila's hand, whispering prayers into the choking darkness. Dawn broke, gray and merciless. The fire had burned itself out, leaving a charred skeleton of the room. Neighbors, alerted by the smell of smoke, broke down the door. They found Mira, barely alive, her body curled protectively around Lila. But Lila was gone, her small hand still in her mother's, her stuffed rabbit blackened by soot. The truth unraveled in whispers. The candle, the refrigerator, the locked door, the sealed windows, a cascade of choices and chance that led to tragedy. The town mourned, but Mira carried the weight of that night forever, haunted by the flame that stole her daughter. Epilogue, the lessons of the night. Never place a candle on a refrigerator where flammable materials lurk unseen. Never lock a door from the outside, trapping those within. And always ensure a room breathes. For a single flame in a sealed space can turn a home into a tomb. The storm may pass, but the scars of that night linger, a warning etched in fire and loss.